Yo, what up, guys? Fuyui here, live action. And I know I'm a little late to the party when it comes to Christmas and all that, but I just had to get this story off my chest because of how influential it is, like every single year. Specifically, Christmas stories. And one of them is, or I should say, has been one of the most influential pieces of media or stories in general that I've ever experienced in my life. And it's been like a common occurrence back and forth, left and right, up and down, doesn't matter. When it's Christmas, you know it's on. But speaking of Christmas, it's that time of year again, and I want to talk about. Now, growing up in the early 2000s and 2010s, they were a really special time when it comes to holidays specifically. But a month before December, Black Friday happened. It was less chaotic, surprisingly, around like 2009, 2010. Maybe that was my area, but I don't know. The shopping malls were booming because of all the piles of people pushing each other to grab the latest Hot Wheels or Lego set. Personally, it was me trying to grab the last Bionicle set, specifically the one with Jallard. I love that guy. Generation 3, please tell me if you know that or not. But not Generation 3 Web of Shadows, that's still Generation... It doesn't matter. I'm not gonna talk about how back then was, alright? That was a special time to all the 2000 kids' hearts. But instead, I do want to talk about how great the Christmas specials were on TV specifically. Like, Rudolph got ran over by a reindeer. Not Rudolph, what the fuck am I saying? Grandma got ran over by a reindeer. And, the Rudolph movie, with the claymation. What else is there? Oh, right. And the Scooby-Doo special, too. That one's always gonna be good. And, specifically, it's this one, back again. The Christmas Carol clips, you saw it and everything. But, you know, the whole bah humbug guy. Ebenezer Scrooge for short, I mean. Over the time I was growing up, there was several variations of this story. Of course, we have the classic version from 1943 by Charles Dickens, the creator and author of this beautiful, beautiful story. In fact, the novella has been adapted over 100 times on screen, making it one of the most filmed stories of all time, which is a really crazy thought since it's made in the 1800s, you know what I mean? The other variations of A Christmas Carol too, like the Jim Carrey version, the 1970s version, 2009 A Christmas Carol, if anybody watches, like, I think it was British TV, I'm pretty sure it wasn't on American TV, but I found it on YouTube at one point. But there was one that could top all, a classic that has rivaled the Iliad and the Odyssey, which is, you know, an achievement. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, I love The Muppets movie. Released in December 11th, 1992, The Muppets Christmas Carol has been a nostalgia trip when watching with my friend Michael Jordan. You don't know her, but she's cool. Like, I haven't seen this musical since the ABC Family channel used to be a thing. I love this movie. It has its moments of being cheesy, but you signed up for cheesy when it comes to the Muppets and what they can do. But I applaud this version a lot on how it can feel goofy to downright serious at times, specifically the third act of the film. But it gives me hope at the end of the day. These depictions of the ghost of Christmas past, present, and future are by far one of the best. Even probably better than the Jim Carrey version, which is, in my opinion, like one of the best Christmas Carol films ever. From the puppets themselves, to the costumes, and to the special effects, which is, you know, pretty basic stuff for YouTubers nowadays. They bring their own charm that I've long forgotten by now. But before we do, I heard that this is your first time listening to A Christmas Carol, which is kind of crazy to think about depending on how many people are watching this. If this is the first time you listen to The Christmas Carol, what's wrong with you? Hey, up yours, man. But I'll sum it up for you. Ebenezer Scrooge is a greedy old man. He cares less about anything but money. He gets haunted by his old business friends slash partners. Sometimes it kind of varies between which story or not, telling Scrooge that he'll be haunted by 3 ghosts tonight at starting at 12 o'clock a.m. They do a little dance, and then they cheese it. He was so scared to the point he couldn't fall asleep anymore. Well, he was so scared to the point he couldn't fall asleep. He then gets visited by the ghost of Christmas past, present, and future. Then he wakes up from a dream, and he was so thankful that he became a different person entirely overnight, which is pretty remarkable. The effects of the ghosts worked and changed him for the better. Alright, completely forgot about little Tiny Tim. Poor Tiny Tim. Tim was his employee's kid, and without like the raise that Bob Cratchit, the father of Tiny Tim, won't be here with us if it wasn't for Scrooge's generosity at the end of the movie. But going back to the ghosts, let's break it down. First off, the Ghost of Christmas Past. A little creepy, just a little bit. They did a great job in my opinion with the face specifically. Kind of reminds me of the Wisp from Pokemon, if you know what I'm talking about. The Ghost of Christmas Past leads him throughout like his Christmas endeavors when he was a child, from a teen, then to an adult. But yeah, the ghost leads him to his basically younger self around like school days, 10 to 12 years old, still doing schoolwork while his other friends ran out to play with the neighbors or whatever the students were doing back in the 1800s. Afterwards, a flash forward to his young man years when he found a woman that he actually cared about. But another flash forward, this is what killed me. He fumbled without even knowing. He breaks down, putting money over her for like the 50 millionth time when he said specifically that he would marry her in like a year, which was last year. But all he wanted to do was make money. He breaks down. Remember the heartbreaking pain of losing someone in Christmas, of all days, by the way. What a tragedy. He wasted her time for probably years. It's so sad. The next ghost is called the Ghost of Christmas Present. Yeah, this one's my favorite, honestly. The song in this one is very catchy. The 2 main stories were heartbreaking, especially the second story. Well, actually, the story with the nephew was pretty funny, though. Wee. Going to the room.
Well, there now. We've had the plum pudding and sung the carols. What now, my lovelies?
A game, Fred.
Let's play yes and no.
Oh, wonderful game. Oh,
Ah, that's a great game. I do have a good one, Clara. Guess.
Is it vegetable?
No.
Mineral.
No.
Animal, then.
What else?
What else indeed? In the city.
Usually.
Does it pull a hansom cab?
Certainly not.
How about a dog?
No.
A cat.
A cat.
I said it first.
No.
Wait then, is it an unwanted creature?
Often.
I know. An unwanted creature, but not a rattle-leech or a cockroach.
Then what?
Then what?
What?
It's Ebenezer Scrooge.
Yes.
That's a killer.
The other story was about Bob Cratchit, same guy that I was just talking about earlier, played by Kermit the Frog. When it comes to Christmas time, he still had the humanity to honor Mr. Scrooge, even though after denying his attempt to gain a raise. Which is, I don't know, man. I think you have a right to be pissed, Bob Cratchit. That's all I gotta say. Even when Bob knew that Mr. Scrooge could have helped him and left Tiny Tim with no support at all, the family tries to support him instead, Tiny Tim. But they knew it was eventually time for him. Another tragedy in the same Christmas day. Finally, we have the last ghost. The Ghost of Christmas Future. It looks like the wet nurse from Bloodborne, if you ever played that.
It is hot as hell in this funky ass, hot ass room I'm in. Is that the Grim Reaper?
They start off from the graveyard and they transition into the streets. It shows his banker or businessman buddies that he knew snarking about someone rotten. We cut to the homeless people collecting someone's belongings. He has a sneaky suspicion that those robes were his. Then we get to the saddest part of the film. They zoom into a family's home. The wife crying next to the stove. Bob Cratchit coming home late. The walking cane next to the hung hat an empty seat where now settling dust mounds, and a fire that's anything but warm. The future ghost comes back to the cemetery where it all began. The last part of the story plays out. The ghost points at a headstone. Mr. Scrooge hesitated, but eventually begs for the spirit's confirmation if it's not what he thinks it is. And then we get the famous line of,
One more question. Are these the shadows of things that will be, or are they the shadows of things that may be only?
He eventually gets to the headstone, wipes off the snow that was hiding his name. He's on his knees begging for his life, wishing for a second chance. He falls to the ground, and wouldn't you know it, it's Christmas morning. He thought he died. He gets ready for the day, feeling the first remnants of his humanity shine since forever, it seems. Wishes everyone a Merry Christmas. Donated to charity and even helped the Cratchit family thrive. Gave him the raise and everything. What a good guy. He learned the hard way of what Christmas was and all about, and it almost cost him his life. The story is very near and dear to my heart, and it has the themes of redemption, faith, and doing the right thing. And we all know that we need it more than ever now. I honestly think we need the 2000 standards of Christmas celebration again, or even better, the Christmas traditions again. And I think this should be, one of them. Watch it with the family, watch it with the bros, doesn't matter. It'll always be a good time for anybody. But from a new entertainer to the viewers, I sincerely hope that you have a wonderful Christmas and a happy new year. God bless us, all of us. This is your host, Fuyuhai. In real life, like, comment, subscribe wherever you are, and whoever is out there, good morning, good evening, good night.